Yo, what is going on, guys? This is Jonathan. Today I'm bringing you kind of a 2-year recap of my journey through the Air Force as a cyber systems operator. Now, I joined February 7th, 2017. It is January 7th, 2019. So we're not quite to the 2-year mark yet. However, I do the same thing every single day of my life, so there's no reason for me to make another one of these videos or make the video in February in literally like 1 month, because absolutely nothing is gonna change unless like all hell breaks loose and there's like a crazy war that happens within the next month. Then I'll make an apology video apologizing for that. I have been in the Air Force for 2 years now, and I am going to go over my opinions on it in a very professional, non-detrimental way to the Air Force, obviously, because we have certain rules that we have to follow. And luckily, I don't really have anything negative to say about the Air Force, to be honest with you. Like, even if right now was my last day in the military and I could speak freely about whatever I wanted in the military without any flack from anybody or any fear of getting in trouble from saying anybody or offending anybody, there is a very, like, maybe 2% of what I would say is negative about my time in the Air Force. Like, there's nothing huge where it's like, dang, I really hated that. There's absolutely nothing that I can tell you that's negative like that. However, let it be known that everybody's journey through the Air Force is completely different. Not only does it depend on what base you're at, it depends on what job you're at. It depends on who you work with next to you, shoulder to shoulder. It depends on who you know, what you do outside of work, like your mental health and your physical health. There are so many things that go into everybody's specific Air Force experience. And I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand that, just based on some comments that I get sometimes. I think that some people don't understand that. Especially when people ask me questions like, what's it like to be a pilot, for example? They don't actually ask me that. It's usually enlisted side of things. But there's so many questions that I can't answer because of that. And specifically because of my job. And some people will ask me questions like, okay, well, what is cybersecurity like? And it's like, I'm not cybersecurity. I've never done cybersecurity. I had roommates in tech school who were cybersecurity, but I don't actually know what they do on a day-to-day basis. And even if I did know, I specifically can only give you that answer to Scott, because pretty much every job in the Air Force is different depending on where you are. Now that's kind of, that's not actually always true. Like, sometimes it is pretty much the same. Like, whether it's finances, you're pretty much doing finances here, you're doing finances there, but I'm pretty sure it really just, there's so many factors. That's the point, okay? So cyber systems operations, it has been awesome. It's definitely kind of a very slow job. I guess, like, the more proper word to say it's kind of boring. Like, IT isn't a super exciting field, and even if you have that mindset of, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna work on physical computers and I'm gonna be cyber or client systems or whatever it is, I think that the general consensus from a lot of people in IT is that it's kind of boring. It's not a very exciting job, but that's just what computers are. If you sat at a desk and worked on computers all day long, you should kind of go in knowing that, right? It's not the most exciting thing that I've ever done in my entire life, right? Like, you have to, like, understand, like, the military isn't jumping out of airplanes and Call of Duty type stuff and stuff like that. And I know a lot of my viewers probably know that, but for people who aren't my viewers, it's a lot of the time not what you think at all. And if you, like, me and my friends at tech school and stuff, we would talk about this all the time. Like, isn't it crazy how you're walking through the grocery store or you're trying to get recruited by the Army and they're coming to your front door and talking to your mom and stuff like that, how you kind of look at those people and you're like, dang, like, they're actually in the military, like, they've actually seen war or whatever. You have that mindset about that, right? And then you're actually in the military, you actually go through tech school, you actually see all the funny things that happen and everything. You have the whole wide spectrum of what actually goes down. And it's so funny that it's not what you think at all. And it's even more true in the sense of that everyone's experience is different, because I know people who just got to this base and already have LLCs and they've already gotten in trouble. But I also know people who've been here and stuck here for 6 years and they really want to go to other bases. And I know that those aren't really comparable, but like that's one person's experience versus one person who has never gotten in trouble. They're awesome, like they're always doing stuff the right way, and they're still stuck at Scott Air Force Base even though they really want to move somewhere else. And that's not to say that the person who got in trouble isn't great, because that person is, I mean, that person's cool too, but it's just kind of the whole different experiences from everybody and all sorts of stuff like that. Aside of it, it is awesome. I really enjoy my job. I don't resent waking up in the morning. I don't like hate doing PT. Now personally, I really don't like running, but that's just part of it. It's just something that you have to do. But I like PT. I like feeling obligated to work out because I need to work out. I need to stay in shape, and it just gives me another reason to go to the gym. And I think it's kind of awesome. So another thing is like my work schedule is awesome. It's basically a 9 to 5. I wake up, I get ready, and then I go to work at like 7:30, and then I'm off at 4:30. Sometimes if they're feeling really nice, even like 3:30. So that's awesome. Aside from PT, we wake up and we do PT at like 7 in the morning, and then we get released at like 7:30, 7:45, get ready, go to work, be there at 9, and then it's 9 until 4:30, right? So like it's awesome. It's a really cool schedule. Now, not everyone has that schedule. Again, it depends on what job you have, because some people work shift schedules or like swing shifts or whatever you guys call it or whatever, and they work 12-hour shifts and they really don't like their lives. That's the truth. And then you have other people who do different jobs and they're also working like a 9 to 5 schedule and all sorts of stuff like that. So, but personally, like my experience with it is it's awesome. I really enjoy my work hours. I really enjoy my job. I'm a server administrator, right? That's kind of what cyber systems operations is. It really depends on what base you go to and if you have like special duties and what your mission is, right? But we keep websites up, and it's my job to patch those websites, to maintain those websites in every aspect, which includes patching. It includes doing health checks. It includes getting calls from people and being like, hey, this is down right now, like we need it to get fixed. And then we're like, okay, we'll fix it. It involves getting tickets and doing whatever is on the ticket, which is app updates and all sorts of stuff like that. I know I get questions all the time like, oh, like, are you a programmer? Like, do you ever type code and this and that? I'm not. There actually is a programming career field. They are programmers, they make applications. And then they give us the applications and we install the applications basically. It's called DevOps. So like we're operators, cyber systems operations, and they're developers, like programmers and stuff like that. And then you have cybersecurity. Cybersecurity does a bunch of information assurance stuff, a bunch of stuff like that. So that's kind of how it works. I mean, there's other positions throughout units and stuff like that, and especially for Scott Air Force Base, because the unit that I'm in is kind of a special unit. A lot of other bases don't have comm support squadrons. But it's definitely awesome. The experience that I've had being in a smaller comm squadron has been great, because it's like, it's all kind of friendly faces. You're still professional, you're still in the Air Force, you still have the day-to-day things and stuff like that, and the professionalism and all that, but it's a lot more homey feeling, I guess, because you don't feel so dime a dozen, I guess, is kind of what I'm getting at. Let me tell you, like, more on the side of military, it has gone by really, really fast. Like 2 years has gone by like that. I mean, and when you look at it, like I have 1 more year of what I just did, and then after that, I have 1 more year of just out processing and basically just kind of keeping it chill, because your last year in the military is usually really like relax and stuff like that, because the focus isn't really on you anymore. The focus is on the newer airmen who still have the 2 or 3 years left and stuff like that. And also, one other thing I want to talk about is like training. When you join the military, when you're 6 months in the military, a year in the military, you kind of think like, dang, like, when is this training gonna end? When are my CBTs gonna be done? When am I gonna finish those? When are my CDCs gonna be done? When is tech school gonna be over? When is BMT gonna be over? And then like before you go, it's like, oh, when am I gonna ship to BMT? I'm still excited to ship to BMT. The best advice I could probably give to somebody who's gonna ship to BMT is make sure you have a lot of fun before you go to BMT. BMT seems really short. It's like 2.5 months or 2 months or something like that. And my tech school for cyber ops was like 4 months, and it doesn't seem like that long in your head, and then you're going through it, and once you start going through it, it's like, dang, like this actually is kind of long. And I know it seems like that when you're going through it, But then when you get out and you're 2 years down the line, or even 1 year down the line, and you're done with your CDCs and you're done with tech school and you graduate and you pass Sec Plus, you're just kind of like, dang, like that went by so fast. And it's almost like I've told this to a lot of people and they agree with me. It's kind of like high school. Like you go through high school and it's taken forever. You're like, gosh, I'm only a sophomore. I still have to finish this year, and then I have 2 more years on top of that. And then you get to senior year and you graduate and you're like, holy crap, it went by so fast. It's just like that. The last thing that I probably have to say about kind of like my 2-year mark and everything that I've been, I'm a pretty positive person. Like I'm a really positive person. And that translates into making the best out of every situation that you're in. BMT isn't really, it's a fun experience when you look back at it, but when you're going through it, when you're getting yelled at, when it's really hot outside, when you're marching and your legs hurt, it's not that fun of an experience, but it's about making the best of it. It's about making friends with people, and even if you have hardships with those people, making friends with those people, sticking with those people, so that when you get to tech school, you can laugh about it. And then you can go through it again when you're at tech school and when you're studying for Sec Plus and you feel like you're gonna fail. You feel like you're gonna fail out of your blocks. You miss your wife, you miss your kids, you miss your girlfriend, or you miss your mom because you don't have any of those other things, or maybe you miss somebody else in your life, or you just miss your old lifestyle. When you're going through that and when you're feeling that, one, being in the military, there's always people to talk to, whether it's a chaplain, medical, like mental health basically, or your friends on the like least extreme level, or no matter what, there's always people to talk to. On top of that, you have to make the best out of every experience that you kind of go through. Like you just have to. If you don't make the best out of it, it's just gonna suck. Honestly, it's gonna suck. If you let it suck, maybe you have a completely different mentality. Maybe you like getting yelled at BMT. Maybe you like DFAC food. Maybe you like sleeping on bunk beds, or I guess Disneyland doesn't have bunk beds, but maybe you're in Alcatraz. Maybe you like studying for Sec Plus and you like the thought of failing. Maybe you're a completely different person. But for the people who struggle with those things, just remember that it's temporary. Like, one, you being in the military is temporary, because people join the military and then they're 6 months in, they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do 4 years of this, or I should not have signed 6 years. I should have signed 4 years. And maybe you are that person, but you have to remember it's super temporary. The time is going to fly by, and you have to make the best out of every situation that you're in when it comes to that. I can't really say like, oh, it sucked and so I made the best out of it, because that's not really the case. I enjoyed tech school. I had like the best time out of my entire military experience was probably at tech school. I had awesome friends, awesome people. The only thing that would have made it better is my wife being there with me. She came to visit, but I mean, like living there with me, that would have been amazing. So there is that aspect to it too. The most important thing, whether you're at your base, you're 10 years in the military, or whatever it is just make the best out of every situation that you're in, because you're doing it for a reason. And that reason might be you want to serve your country. That reason might be you want to look good to your family, or whatever the case may be. Everyone has a different reason for joining the military. It might just be you really want a college education. You don't necessarily care about serving your country. You might not care about the mission day to day. You might not care about the people you work with. Maybe you just want the college experience, and you're like, I don't have $80,000 to go to college, $100,000 to go to college, so I need to do something with my life. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's your motivation every single day, but you have to make the most out of it. And that's probably the most important thing, because if you're negative every single day, it's just gonna suck. If you're negative, it's gonna affect other people, and they're gonna be negative, and it's not gonna be a good combination. So you kind of have to be that positive light in that whole sort of thing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, leave your ship dates down below so that I can connect with you and that you can connect with other people. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button, just so that you can stay updated when I do upload videos. And the like button is just kind of to show people like, hey, this is a good video versus this being a bad video. If you have any video suggestions, it is 2019 now. Please leave them down below, because I'm compiling a list of stuff that I want to make videos about. And if you have any requests, it's awesome, because I'm doing this for you. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed this video, and peace out.